Sorry, we're closed.
All right, another episode, Sean. Welcome back.
Thank you for welcoming me.
Anytime for welcoming you. Listen, I want to talk to you a little bit about something. I know I kind of talked to you already about it yesterday because I did it yesterday, but now we're on the podcast. I played at a golf course, which may or may not be controversial depending on who's listening to this.
May or may not be controversial.
Technically speaking, we have a fairly small audience of maybe at most, I haven't looked at the numbers lately, at most maybe a couple hundred people. We technically could have a couple hundred people on the same side of the aisle.
Okay.
It's possible. Is it not possible?
No, it is not.
Okay. So maybe it's going to be controversial. But so I played at a golf course yesterday. I supported the Hoboken PBA for a golf outing for the police department. And they decided to have this golf course at a course in Bedminster, New Jersey. It happens to be a Trump course.
Donald J. Trump.
Donald J. Trump. So now there possibly are a few people listening right now are furious at me for playing
Or
this.
deleting all of our episodes.
One of the two.
All just gone.
You can't win them all. Anyway, I'm sending.
I didn't say I liked the course.
Yes.
Jesus, people.
Terrible course. That's a beautiful course, really nice. But
Canceled.
But anyway, there was a picture, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because obviously littered throughout the course are pictures of Donald Trump. It's all over the place. You know, every single picture seemingly is.
Were there any busts of Donald Trump?
What's considered a bust? This be like a sculpture?
A sculpture of a head would be what I assume is the definition of a bust.
A bust. Got to be shoulders and above.
I would almost say neck and up. And you
Neck
get the
and up.
collars.
Adam's apple and up?
Yeah, well, Adam's apple is here.
Yeah, I'm saying that. But can you get shoulders?
I'm going to say right here and up. Clavicle and up.
Clavicle and up. So you can get shoulders, top shoulders.
No shoulders. Because
No shoulders.
It's a V. It's a V. The bust is the bust is a V.
Oh, it comes down into a point.
Precisely.
Onto a piece of
Scandinavian
metallic limestone.
That is my favorite material.
Same.
That they make busts out of.
Yes. I mean, that's top
Donald
of the
J.
line.
Trump would settle for nothing less.
Top of the line. Top of the line. Only top of the line. Anywho.
Did you see a bust?
I didn't see a bust.
Okay.
Several pictures, all of which he is a part of. There's no
Primary
pictures.
focus.
There's no pictures of anyone. There's a picture in there of someone else. Trump's in the picture. That is
Period. End of story.
Seemingly mandatory for pictures in this golf course. But there was one picture, and I have Miranda throwing it up right now if you're watching on YouTube. But there's this one picture of him, and it seems he's doing his signature "You're fired."
You're fired.
You're fired line. Back when people liked him.
I want to watch that show again. I've actually looked on multiple occasions to try to see if I could watch. What's it called again?
The Apprentice. The Apprentice. Yeah.
Because I'm actually curious to hear. I mean, I think we have a pretty good idea, but I'm curious to know what him as a businessman. See how he would operate in those situations.
I don't know that he ever operates, though. I think he just fires people. The businesses are operated by other people. He just says that they didn't do a good job.
Now, look, this might get me canceled.
Here we go. Don't say anything positive.
I'm going to get canceled.
Oh, here we go. I'm sorry, listeners.
I have heard from a number of sources that his book, The Art of the Deal, excellent business book.
I've heard that as well. I've
never read it.
Nearby.
I would never.
Would never.
But maybe I would.
No. I've heard that as well about him. That's probably one of the few positive things you hear about him in today's world.
The Art of the Deal.
Yeah.
Was a great book.
I've heard that as well.
Never read it.
Nearby.
Please don't cancel me.
Nearby. But this picture, he's such an image guy.
Yeah.
So seemingly I want to say soft because he's obviously not soft, but he's so honed in on what people think of him.
Yeah.
That I'm shocked by this picture being a and you've seen it.
I have. I most certainly have.
You thought it was quite hilarious. I don't. It's so surprising to me that to be any picture that he doesn't feel like he looks amazing. I know he's in the picture firing so much.
Right,
Might be his favorite.
Really buttoned up.
Yeah, but it might be his favorite activity, firing people.
There might be. Look, he might have a soft spot for, pictures of himself in many different fashions.
Yes. Also, fun fact, which I told you yesterday, was the caddies. So we had on the course, you had to have a caddy, And the gentleman that we had by the name of, I don't want to say his name just in case, you never know.
John Smith.
Yeah, great guy, John is. And he told us that
You don't want to get him fired?
No, I don't get him fired. But the one thing is that he had caddied there that year, let's say on ballpark 60 times. He said of those 60 times this summer alone, Donald J. Trump had been there 55 of those 60 times. Now, granted, he apparently has a house on the course somewhere.
On the grounds.
Yeah, on the grounds, which he pointed out to me. It kind of looked like a chimney of sorts. It was weird.
House looked like a chimney.
So I was from a distance, so it was tough to see. I might not have been seeing the entire house, but it was like a very large chimney. But
a magnificent chimney.
Magnificent chimney. No bust on the chimney though.
Okay.
And then on top of that, he said that, and I think it's pretty common knowledge that he cheats at the game of golf. I think everyone has.
I've heard that.
I've heard that pretty aggressly. And the guy also said that
Trump cheats at
golf. Local businessman. But he apparently the guy says, like, if you're his caddy, it's known you must get his ball up. So when you tee off, these caddies, they go super far out in the middle of the fairway, so they find your ball. So the whole point is to try to not lose the golf ball. And I still lost several.
Yeah, good luck with there.
But anyway, so we go out there. Apparently, it's known that you're supposed to like give him like 60 yards, which is a ton of yards.
That's a massive amount.
Like he's driving par fours on the reg.
Do you think he's out there telling people like, hey, what's up? Like I drive 340.
Honestly, yes. I've seen this guy. There's times where I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. And there's other times I'm like, this guy is delusional. So like I think that if he's getting 60 yards, even if he knows it's cheating, I could easily see him thinking he could be on the tour.
I mean, that is another level of delusion.
But if let's say, because he's a fairly good golfer, and I've seen him tee off.
I've heard that.
I've seen him tee off. He's probably doing at least 250, 230. So that means he's closing in on 300 yards. If they're giving him 60.
I mean, he's closing in on DeChambeau with these numbers.
So, listen, it was an interesting day to be over there. Most of it was as expected. It was good to support the Hoboken Police Department. I'm a big police fan.
Huge police guy.
Big police guy. Big.
I am too.
Big police guy. Love having police.
Huge fan of them.
Yeah.
To be honest.
I've used them on several occasions at the bar, so very, very happy they're around. So I was happy to support them. But who knows, Sean? We might wake up. No, Tuesday. So we might wake up on Thursday and be canceled.
I
always said go through the roof on followers.
I always said that if I ever get canceled, I'm leaning into it, and I'm
got it.
Into the skid.
Mandatory lean in.
I'm gonna go. I'm following the Dave Portnoy anti-cancel plan,
which is, I mean, if you just named two people in this world that people want to cancel you for, you just named one and one A and one B.
Dave Portnoy is uncancelable because he leans into it. If you backpedal and try to say, my apologies, I didn't mean to offend, enter said community, they're immediately offended and they hate you forever. But if you say, actually, I did mean to offend you, you suck, you never be canceled.
Boom.
You probably shouldn't say that. Let me say that.
That's cancel 101.
There is an anti-cancel playbook, and it is written by Dave Portnoy.
I will, yeah.
He can't be canceled because he leans into it.
No. And the other thing is, when you talk about these types of things, you're always going to have 50% of the aisle seemingly on your side. You just got to run with that 50%.
100%.
Run with the 50%.
You can't sit on the fence.
Yes.
Nobody ever got rich for sitting on the fence.
No. However, we did go over this, that it's there was like a old wives' tale that stated that the richest man in the world was the middleman.
What is an old wives' tale?
It's the tale that the wives tell their children to put them to bed. That's actually pretty good. I completely made that up, but that's pretty solid.
That is solid, actually.
Right? Tell them stories to go to bed at night when they don't have TV and stuff. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't know what an old wives' tale is. You know what, Sean? We have a computer. Can you entertain the guests while we look up old wives' tale?
What do you mean by entertain the guests?
Oh, here it is. It came right up, guys. We only took.
So I don't have to dance for them.
No, you have to do it. An old wives' tale, spelled the way we think it is a supposed truth which is actually spurious.
Spurious.
Or a superstition. Okay. Spurious. I haven't used that word ever. Spurious. So it's a superstition. It can be said sometimes to be a type of urban legend, said to be passed on by older women to a younger generation, which I think where the wives come into play there. It's folklore, unverified claims, etc., etc. Sorry, Dad. Old wives' tales often center on women's traditional concerns such as pregnancy, puberty, social relations, health, herbalism, and nutrition. I want to also make it known that this has been from Wikipedia. I did not say anything about women and their problems in pregnancy.
Women and their problems.
Yes.
Patrick, you are really walking a thin line today, my friend.
Listen.
Local businessman canceled.
All right, well, this has been a riveting beginning of the show. We're 10 minutes in. We've gotten canceled at least 4 times.
Steering into it. Anti-cancel playbook.
Dave Portnoy, Donald Trump, women's issues.
And all of their problems.
There's a ton here if you guys ever want to look it up.
I mean, just so many problems.
There's a ton of information here. There's actually very little. There's more on my Wikipedia page than there is on Old Wives' Tale Wikipedia. But if you guys ever want to look it up, it's Old Wives' Tale at wikipedia.org. So,
okay.
Yeah, that's what we got there. Wraps up that segment.
What's the next segment, Patrick?
I'm not 100% sure. Let's turn into something here that doesn't get us canceled.
Would you like me to go to my sheet here?
What's your
Actually,
sheet?
you know what I'm actually a little curious about?
What, John? Talk to me.
Since we're here, might as well air out our grievances.
Oh, we're not there yet. Almost time for that though, and 'tis the season.
How have you been here?
Light a candle.
Go light one.
We can't leave the show to light a candle.
It's our show. We can go and get a candle.
Technically, you're right, but no, I'm not going to go. I'm just saying I wanted some an autumnal smell.
Isn't it interesting that it feels like you shouldn't get out of your chair to go get a candle, but literally nobody listening cares whatsoever if you go light a candle?
Depending on what you talk about. If they want to be entertained for the full hour, let's say, and in the next 2.5 minutes I'm out lighting a candle,
and it takes
and it's
them
just
away?
terrible.
Like I just completely bombed the segment.
Start spewing racial slurs or something.
Do you think that's in the world of possibilities?
Listen, I didn't expect the first 10 minutes to go the way it did. I don't think
you think it could really go off the tracks.
I left. You know how panicked I would be.
We have the ability to edit this.
It's true, we do. It's not a live show. But what are you curious about, John?
I'm curious how you and I could have lived in the same apartment for 48 hours, and you have not even once mentioned the gash on my nose.
Oh yeah, I saw it. Just not very relevant to my life.
I mean, this is like,
what happened?
Oh, thanks for your concern.
What happened? Tell the people.
Well, for those of you who follow me on the gram, I was down in Morgantown, West Virginia. Mm-hmm. For many of you, that's all the explanation you'll need. Probably. I went down and watched the Mountaineers play the Hokies, and after
we'll
the
get
game,
into that later.
After the game, went to sleep that evening, staying at local Hampton Inn, and I got up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and I didn't turn any lights on, as I always do. Never turn a light on, ever, at night.
I'm a big anti-light guy, too.
Because as soon as you turn the light on, you're activating awake mode.
Oh, yes.
Sometimes I go at home, I'll actually have my eyes closed the whole time.
Okay.
It's about challenging yourself. Okay?
Sean's bathroom is a wreck.
So I did my business.
Uh-huh.
I went to pull the door open, and this is unfamiliar territory for me.
Yeah.
So I went to pull the doorknob, accidentally pulled the hook in the middle of the door where you put the towels. They had a middle hook, not just the top hook.
Oh, so it's like where the
door would be, but in the middle of the door, not on the side. I just didn't know where that was. So I'm pressing around for it, trying to find it. I got it, and I pulled the door open, thinking I was on the handle side. I was in the middle of the side. Opened it full Z's right into my face.
You opened the door straight into your face.
Straight into. It would be as if you had a hook in the middle of the door. You stood mere inches from it and opened it into your face. And it was a heavy door.
Here's my question. This is where I have a problem with it.
You have a problem with that?
Yeah, this is where I have a problem with this. Is at what velocity are you pulling the door open in the pitch black? Now, in normal times, I bet you opened it in a normal speed if the lights were on.
Right.
Lights were off. Are you not slowly opening the door to make sure you don't hit yourself in the face?
No, because I wouldn't.
Hitting myself full velocity.
I'm not yanking the thing.
It seems like you did, Sean.
No, I opened it swiftly. Not swiftly.
It seems like at any slow velocity, this doesn't happen. So my thought
Well, here's the thing.
is you were super, as typical Sean is, super confident that you were 100% correct in where the door was and how quickly you had no problems opening the door as fast as you wanted.
I opened it. I wasn't, guys. I'm not yanking this at record speed here. I'm opening the door. Not like that. That was way too fast. I'm opening the door. It was a big, heavy door. Had those, those Hampton Inn doors.
They're known for their heavy doors.
Their heaviness. It was, and it got me, and it felt.
So what got you, a hook?
No, just the door. It slammed into my schnoz.
Like the corner of it?
No, the flat of it.
You just door straight to face.
Straight to face. Flat side of the door, straight to the face. Squish, like Marvin Home Alone.
You had to have opened it with some solid velocity.
I mean, it was velocity, no doubt, but there was the assumption that it was not going to hit my face.
Of course, but so I don't think there was an assumption. It's that you, I guess, assumed that you were 100%
I would
correct.
say that I opened the door with this velocity. It's my book.
Okay. That's not a bad velocity.
But with a heavy, legit door just coming right into your face. Never want to say that phrase again. With opening the door that then hits my face, and it just did it. And I felt like I might be bleeding. I thought I was going to have a nosebleed. So then I turned the lights on.
Mm-hmm. Awake mode.
I mean, the door made me in awake mode. And I saw it was just dripping out. That's nice. But but yeah, then that's what happened. Then I went back to sleep.
Huh.
I reactivated sleep mode. So
Good.
that's what happened.
Did you have to cover it up with the bandage, some gauze?
There was no gauze needed in this experiment.
No gauze. No bandage?
No bandage. A dab of a tissue.
A dab
hardened massage.
Did you have to keep it pressed?
Just a dab.
Just a dab was fine.
And I woke up and there was some dried blood.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Really get the detail here, Sean.
Seeping through the skin. And so now I've had this little number for the last couple days.
All right then. Well,
it really adds a lot of flavor to my existence. Moving on. I do actually have some topics lined up for today.
You do.
That have nothing to do with Donald Trump, women's issues, or my bleeding schnoz.
Good.
So this is one I've been meaning to bring up to you.
Okay.
Have you heard about the Purdue Drum?
The Purdue Drum?
One of the interesting things about being on a podcast with Patrick is he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know anything about sports. I don't know much.
Although people do think I know a ton about sports.
You know about playing the sport.
Yeah.
But you don't know. You don't have a damn idea what the hell's going on.
No. Hey guys, I just want you to be clear here.
No. I want to be clear. You know nothing.
Go be clear.
Every time I bring something up, Patrick's like, "No, I never heard of this." Do you think I did? Did I think that Patrick was going to hear about the Purdue Drum? Of course not.
No. I just don't have that much interest in sports.
Well, thanks for joining us on our sports podcast here.
No, I don't
Literally, guys, listen, I couldn't care less about sports. So let's talk about sports. Let me pick games.
No, listen. I think I like sports.
We're canceled by so many demographics right now.
I like sports. I'm not a diehard, absolutely need to know everything about sports.
Were you ever like that? I don't ever remember you being like a diehard about anything. I remember you really liked Ben Wallace. That was a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I remember liking the Detroit Pistons. I remember liking the Chicago White Sox. I remember checking the newspaper every morning, the Asbury Park Press, every morning to see if the White Sox had won the night before.
But you didn't really care if they had or not. It was just kind of a nice anecdote for your morning.
I don't really know.
oatmeal.
I mean, it was fourth grade or so. I wasn't talking about an anecdote for my morning oatmeal, but. I've never been West Virginia. I remember specifically that West Virginia used to ruin my day if that was bad. if they were bad, I got over that. But I've never been a guy that's been even when I was playing, I wouldn't even tell you the stats of the players that are on my team. That was my teammates.
I can never do that either.
I mean, you could tell you could tell a fairly good idea of what West Virginia's players and how they're statistically doing this year. Okay. I had no really.
West Virginia is the only team that I really care about. West Virginia football.
Yeah,
and Quinnipiac basketball, because I mean nobody cares, but I was on the team.
Yeah,
so that's
like me caring about Monmouth baseball. I guess I shouldn't say that.
Guys, I literally couldn't care.
I don't though. In my opinion, you should like your school, root for them. If I see Monmouth baseball, I never would ever see them going up in a big game. But if I ever saw them going up in a big game, of course would root for them. But I'm by no means following along in any capacity. Sorry, Monmouth.
No, that's fine.
I mean, I don't think that I should.
I like to watch the Quinnipiac basketball games, but I don't know their statistics. I know who's good and who's bad.
I think that's one of the reasons why the Red Sox have taken like, not necessarily, I don't watch every Red Sox game, but I think because of the sport that it is and how kind of casual I am about life in general, I like that the Red Sox are a sport team that I can watch 3.5-hour game, 3-hour game, and sit there. I don't need to see every pitch. I can watch the game at my leisure and enjoy whatever I happen to be doing. I think that's why I like that. But I don't know what the hell you're talking about, but go ahead and ask me.
We're talking about the Purdue Drum.
Oh, yeah, the Purdue Drum.
So Purdue has this thing. The Purdue football team has this thing. And they named it, I don't know if this is actually the case, but they've named it the world's biggest drum.
World's biggest drum.
World's biggest drum.
Is it, in fact, the world's biggest drum, or we're not sure?
I cannot confirm that.
Okay.
But I can confirm it's a big-ass drum.
Okay.
Okay? They were traveling to Notre Dame to play the Fighting Irish last weekend. Mm-hmm. And Purdue has used this drum every weekend, every halftime, road and away, since the 70s.
Okay. Is it the same drum? You're not sure.
They may have refurbished it.
Not sure. Okay.
But I'm going to assume that it's the same drum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Okay.
Because of its size and grandeur, they can't go through any old door to get it into the stadium. So at Notre Dame, because of their stadium renovations, they have had to there was only one remaining door and gate that could have escorted the drum from the dimensions, allowed it to get through the door. I don't know why I had to talk about dimensions. As you say, it's the only door that's big enough. Okay? The door happens to be like the Notre Dame equipment door or something like that. Notre Dame, being the Catholic, religious, charitable school that they are, said, yeah, you can't use that gate. So for the first time since the 70s, Purdue was unable to use their drum at halftime because Notre Dame said, no, you can't use our gate. You either bring it in some other way or you're not bringing it into our stadium. What are your thoughts? What's your take on that?
First off, I should have known that anything related to that part of the country in college football that was seemingly irrelevant to anyone's life before this was a negative connotation on Notre Dame if you're bringing it up. But, I'd like to know more information rather than – so right now, obviously, Notre Dame just seems like a bunch of assholes. That's
How
what
is
it seems.
there – what is the scenario that has to remove that stigma from them?
Notre Dame had to lose something. They had to lose – let's say they had a big trumpet.
The world's biggest trumpet.
If they couldn't get their trumpet in for the first time since the 60s.
At Purdue?
Was it at Purdue or was that Notre Dame?
It was at Notre Dame, but I'm saying...
Yeah.
Keep going.
But I'm saying in this actual scenario, it's at Notre Dame. If there was, like I said, the world's biggest trumpet, and they weren't able to get their trumpet in time, if they also allowed this drum in, acceptable reason. I understand that. You're at home. Takes precedent over the visitors.
If you're Purdue, are you even asking? I'm showing up with the drum and wheeling it in. I'm walking around the stadium until I find a spot.
I mean, if that might be the only spot,
I don't care. I wouldn't even. This wouldn't even come up to me.
Who won the game?
Notre Dame.
Nah, that's too bad. I would love to just shove it right down their throats.
And then they're just banging the drum outside the stadium.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, they got plenty of money. Maybe they could have got a helicopter or something to bring it in.
Could you?
Let me use the gate. Suck it.
But you can't use the gate. You can land a helicopter.
Sorry.
You're issuing a suck it.
Suck it. You didn't let me.
You're inviting them to suck it.
You decided to do this, not me. You said find another way. I did. Here's a helicopter landing in the middle of your football field. And we need also post game.
We're going to have to get it out of here after halftime.
Let me use the gate again.
How bad do you want it?
Yeah. Right now, based on the information that I have, yes, Notre Dame seems like a bunch of assholes. in all of these cases, though, typically Notre Dame and Purdue, they might be rivals, but let's just be realistic here. Notre Dame is consistently better than they are.
Yes.
The only thing I can't see Notre Dame being a piece of shit for no reason. There had to be something there where, listen, that gate is just a monsoon of things all day.
Okay.
If we get, in order to do this, it's just a pain. There's just no way it's going to get done. Take your drum somewhere else. Try to find another way. If you can't,
so we need more information. I would agree that we need more information. Because it just sounds like the biggest jerk move.
Yeah, either
ever.
they're just terrible human beings,
which it's Notre Dame.
It is Notre Dame, or there is more information here. There's got to be more information.
I'm sure there's more information.
By the way, I also Wikipedia Purdue's drum. It's called the Purdue Big Bass Drum, or maybe they want to do Big Bass, just so it sounds like ass. Big ass drum.
Big bass drum. The
It's
big bass drum. The big bass drum. I love this podcast because it is a complete departure from my normal life.
You really should go take a listen to my brother's other podcast. It's so different. It's unbelievable.
I'm over here going, the big bass drum.
Yes. And then he's going to give you sound business advice. But, I mean, yeah, we need more information, Sean.
Well, I'm going to give you some more information here.
Okay.
And I'm really excited about it. I'm going to read you some statistics.
Read statistics, Sean.
72-0.
Okay.
145 yards passing and no touchdowns, 6 interceptions. 51 rushing yards and 5 running backs in negative yardage.
Mm-hmm.
Looking like 3 fumbles.
Uh-huh.
Jeez. And 1 total punt.
1 total punt.
What am I referring to?
Notre Dame statistics that game?
Incorrect. I am referring to the absolute thwomping that Mr. Presbyterian took.
Oh, I heard
this
about
weekend.
This.
That's because I was the one who texted you.
Okay.
He lost to the Campbells. No, the Campbell Camels.
Campbell.
Fighting Camels.
The Fighting Camels in Campbell.
At Campbell.
In the town that Campbell's in.
In the town that Campbell's in. Hold on. Let's see if I can...
Mr. Presbyterian. What an idiot.
In front of a raucous crowd of 5,500. 72-0. Presbyterian's quarterback threw for 145 yards and 6 interceptions. Their backup came in, threw another interception. It was 7 total picks. And in a loss where you lose 72-0, 72-0, you had 1 punt. Please tell me what you think about this.
I have one glaring thought.
They went for 8 fourth downs.
Yeah, I have one super, super glaring thought. And I think you're going to agree with me on this, Sean.
Okay.
How in God's name, in a 72-0 game, with Mr. Presbyterian as your coach,
the legend himself,
where was the line for you that you decided to punt? It seems as though you shouldn't have punted at any point in time.
I was actually going to bring that up. Is he? Did he give up? Is he a coward? Is Mr. Presbyterian a coward for punting and not sticking to his guns?
Yes. If it's just one
lone punt for 23 yards.
Yeah, he can't. In the 72-0 game, it's over, man. What are you doing? Don't punt. You're in. You're in. You've done this.
What if they're on the 1 yard line? The other team's 1 yard line.
Unbelievable. No, you're in. It's 72-0. I don't know when he punted.
It's over. Yeah, I don't know either.
You can't just. You've decided to be this type of football coach.
They were 2 for 8 on 4th down.
Yeah, and also, you got to remember, this is one loss. This doesn't count as more losses. The style of football this gentleman decides to coach, he's bound for some big losses.
He certainly is.
However, if he can go on and be successful as this coach and win football games, and maybe comes back next time and beats the hell out of Campbell, because the 72-0 is not indicative of which team is more talented. It seems like Campbell's more talented, but this is one of those 72-0.
Campbell coming into the game. Listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy.
This is crazy
for all you sportsbook fans out there. Campbell came into the game. I want to make sure I got this right because this is insane.
You give you the odds. Odds?
I'm going to give you the odds. Campbell came into this game a 10-point favorite, and they won by 72.
So that's what I'm saying, is that it's not super based off his style of football. It is not super indicative of how this team is, because they might be going 4th and 18 in the other team's red zone. They might be doing these types of things, which allow them to now it's an easy score again. It's. Do I think it's the best brand of football? Probably not, based off the 72-0 score. However, they still might only be 10 points worse than Campbell. They just never put themselves in good positions, and because of that, now they lost 72-0.
Quick, I'm searching here. I see an article that says UConn football should hire Presbyterian coach. We're just out here. We're just out here calling.
What if they cite us?
Oh my God!
They should totally cite us.
Could you imagine?
We have to be the first.
We actually might. A woman apparently said, added to the list of problems, Presbyterian football. It's time for you all to leave. It's time to play normal football around here.
Wait. This is a fan, or is this someone in the athletic department?
Apparently, a woman approached the coach's wife and said, "It's time for you all to leave. It's time to play normal football around here."
Okay, so it's seemingly a fan of some sort.
It would appear to be as such.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine it being very frustrating on the fans.
I wish it said here how many onside kicks Kelly. I want to see this guy interviewed. We're going to watch that later.
Okay. Well, listen, I can understand being frustrating on the fans, but you got to stick to the plan. You got to stick to the plan right now. You've turned into this.
You got to stick it out.
You're here.
You have committed.
You've committed. You hired Mr. Presbyterian.
The legend himself. You
got to stick it out. You can't. After one bad game, like you said, if you're a rational football fan, you know there's going to be big losses. If he was hired at West Virginia, I would expect that there are going to be games where against a better defense that's going to be able to hold us early in the game, that we're going to put our defense in some pretty tough spots. And if they convert on those tough spots, we're going to lose by a large margin. But you'd hope that there are other games where you beat the crap out of the team because they can't stop you offensively. So you got to stick to the plan here. Must stick to the plan. I'm all in. I'm still all in the basket of Mr. Presbyterian. Needs to be hired at UConn immediately.
Man, would that be sick?
That would be, or it could be really bad for UConn.
All right, I got another question for you.
Okay.
I actually have two questions. Florida loses to Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Not bad.
31-29.
Oh, good game. It was in
Florida.
In Florida, yeah.
Number 1 Alabama versus number 11 Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Should Florida move up in the rankings?
The rankings have always been weird to me because
it doesn't feel like you're paying any real attention.
No, because let's say for a game 1 versus 2. Let's say Florida was number 2 in the country.
Right.
This is a perfect example.
Okay.
Florida's number 2 in the country. They lose 31-29 to Alabama.
Right.
Apparently, your rankings are 100% correct.
Correct.
They're just a slightly worse team. Why do they drop to 6 now?
If they got murdered or something,
yeah,
I get that.
Yeah, why do they? A lot of times they'll drop to 4, or 5, or 6. Why are they dropping so far now? And because Clemson beat Duke last week. I don't think it's what should happen in the ranking system. I think I think this is a phenomenal question because I think you have a strong case that Florida should move up in the rankings.
I mean,
they just competed with definitely the best team in the country.
Does it raise more concerns on Alabama that they only won by 2?
No. And Nick Saban, no.
Nick Saban.
Nope.
Do you think the the heck's their team name? The Tide. The Crimson Tide.
Crimson Tide.
Do you think that the Crimson Tide will bounce back this week?
Yes.
Against the Golden Eagles of Southern Mississippi?
Yes, they will. Take it to the bank, guys. Picks. Take it to the bank. Alabama. We'll cover the spread.
Well, now hold on. You might want to know what that spread
No,
is.
it's too early. I can't. No, I don't need to know that. I don't need to know what that spread is.
You might want to know the
Nope.
spread. They're covering.
Yep.
It's
Nick
Saban.
Saban.
It's a 45-point spread.
Easy. Nick Saban. Boom.
They were 14-point favorite
Nick
last
Saban.
week. 14
Nick
points.
Saban. I don't care.
Saban.
Nick Saban does what Nick Saban does.
Get off your knees.
No, I will not.
I will remain on my knees.
I will not remain on my knees. I will remain on my knees.
Okay. Congratulations. And speaking of Nick Saban, I did have this question. I had this question now for 2 weeks, and we'll
Okay.
ask it here.
I had a great segue there, by the way, into something so different, but I'll let you ask a question.
I'm curious to know how many games in a row how many games in a row can Nick Saban lose before he gets fired?
Oh, I don't know. That's a lot. I mean, Alabama is so accustomed now to great. He could definitely lose out the rest of the year.
For sure.
Not even close.
I think he can lose that this year and all of next year.
Yeah, at minimum.
Which would be roughly, what, 12, 18 straight games or something
Yeah.
like that? 19?
Minimum.
Minimum 19 games before he's fired.
Yeah.
He's got a humongous contract. So
Yeah.
how long does that buy him?
Yeah. I mean,
Am I going to buy him another season of L's?
he might be able to get 2.5 seasons in of losses.
So you're saying that he
Just
could
every single game
potentially
is
lose.
tough.
He could lose.
I mean, he's losing to bad teams now.
24, about 30 consecutive games, and he might get fired.
Yeah. he might have to take a step back at that point. He might just
The game has passed you by, Nick.
it might be done. At 30 consecutive losses. He's gonna. I mean, they're calling for his head probably at 20.
You think they're calling for his head at 20?
20 games. That's. I mean,
That's
yeah,
mid next season.
Yes, but you have to remember, you're probably losing cupcakes.
No.
You're not losing to number
Okay, so
5
you're losing
Florida.
to the Southern Miss.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're losing Southern Miss. You're losing to probably
Georgia State or something.
yeah, some absolute nonsense schools. You have put a bad football team on a really bad one.
You stop trying altogether.
Yeah, they're
Actually, you're at Alabama. If you're losing to Georgia State, you're like intentionally trying to sabotage this.
Yeah,
You're the saboteur.
Saboteur. Yeah, so he can't lose. He can't lose that many. I'd say they're probably starting to talk at 20, but he's probably done at 30.
Oh, they're starting to talk way before 20. If he loses out the rest of the season, they're talking. The pundits are certainly going to bring it up. Us pundits.
But he was there. I don't think they're. I guess they probably have to bring it up.
Yeah.
But they just played.
If he lost 3 games in a row,
yeah.
people would be saying, "Is Nick Saban finished?"
I don't think they'd be saying no. They would not. Not 3 games in a row.
You're
They've
telling
already
me that
beat
on first take. Stephen A. Smith isn't going to have that conversation.
No, who was that other guy that got fired?
Max Kellerman.
Yeah, he might have that take just to ruffle feathers. Or that other guy. What's the other guy that did stuff with Stephen A. Smith for basketball though? Really? Oh no, he does stuff with Shannon Sharp on Fox now.
Oh, Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless. He might just say it to ruffle feathers. No one in their right mind. So I guess that's not your argument though.
No.
So no, I would. You're right. Maybe these idiots say something, but they're just doing it to get views on TikTok.
I agree with that. I agree
Yeah.
with that.
Which, by the way, this is my segue. Alabama played Florida this week. You know what else is going on in Florida?
Well, we're really getting topical out here.
Yes, we can't not talk about this.
All right.
We can't be a topical podcast without talking about this case.
You go first because I don't know a ton.
So if you've lived under a rock, just for reference purposes, the Gabby Petito case with Brian Laundrie, he is still missing.
Hey, go.
I don't believe they have confirmed that it's Gabby.
As of the recording of this podcast, it has not been confirmed. However, based on what I got to imagine, there were some like very unique tattoos, on the sides of her fingers or something like that she had, and I believe the police or FBI said that it's likely her. With those unique tattoos, I'm under the assumption, and I believe that they even notified the family somehow. Which with those two things, we're fairly certain it's her.
Yeah, and I don't think they come out and
Agreed.
say that we
Agreed.
believe it's her without it being her.
Even that seemed bold pre-autopsy.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be the tattoos had to be there. Something is like, okay, this is definitely her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so essentially what's going on here, can you move that blind over a little bit? The sun's moving.
Yeah, I'm so sorry this has been an inconvenience for me.
Thank you. But the case, essentially, she went out to Wyoming or something. They were going across country. They had a fight, a domestic disturbance call, which I heard this morning, because apparently the guy Brian was hitting her on the side of the road and chasing her.
Yep.
Neither filed a charge, or the charges or whatever, and police also did not file any charges.
Police said that it was their analysis was that it was a mental breakdown and not really like a dangerous situation.
Okay. And then on top of that, she goes missing and acts apparently suspiciously.
In the texts, right?
You saw the text where she said, "Take care of Stan."
Stan, who's the grandpa.
Yes, and would never.
I always call my grandpa by his first name.
Yes.
I have to remove humor from this.
Yes. So take care of Stan, which, okay, I don't know if that's supposed to be code for something, or she's just saying anything to try to get their attention. I don't know.
Well, I think they're saying that they think that is Brian who sent that text.
Okay.
I think that's what they're saying.
But why would he send the text? Do you have any
to make
background?
it seem like she's still alive, maybe?
Okay.
That's why supposedly he was posting from her Instagram?
Yes, I saw that, which apparently he didn't put geotags, and she always puts geotags. I saw that. And a lot of times she only posted, I'm getting this from my girlfriend, a lot of times she only would post emojis as captions.
Yes.
These times have been quite lengthy posts.
I will say, your lovely girlfriend.
Yes.
Truly lovely.
Truly lovely. She never listens to this. We have to worry about that.
Okay, fine. She sucks. Yeah, she's like listening to this on her way to work.
Yes.
She showed me their Instagram, and she did she was at least like those it's so hard for me not to try to be funny.
Oh, it's okay. It's
okay. Her Instagram would be like sun kissed.
Yeah,
that's what something like that. And now it was like a novel. It was like a blog post.
Yes, it was.
That's
quite
a huge change.
Huge change.
So that's super suspicious.
Yeah, the mega suspicious.
Yeah, mega suspicious.
Mega suspicious. And then he just apparently showed back up in Florida without her.
Yes.
And immediately lawyered up.
So I knew that there were some questions about how he got the van back to there has to be gas station images of him filling up or something like that. I don't know how easy that is to come by. It's a huge country with a lot of avenues to get back. He probably took the main road.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever's going on, though. Yeah, if you think of Easy Pass, all these things.
Okay, so as it stands right now, the autopsy hasn't come back, although we're pretty sure that it's her. Now they're looking for him. Parents aren't saying anything. They canceled their press conference this morning.
Canceled.
They canceled it. Did you hear about this?
I haven't heard about this.
I mean, that's pretty much everything. They canceled it.
Thank you for elaborating on that.
They canceled the press conference, but their lawyer was saying it's not in our best interest to do it. We're not hiding anything. It was just not in our best interest. Well, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now they're sweeping the area, this big very dense nature preserve.
Very dense.
Or near his home. Super dense.
Super dense.
So it's 24,000 acres or something like that.
Seems like a small area to cover.
It's very robust.
Very robust. And they thought he was in Alabama at one point, which he obviously wasn't. They confirmed that. Well, they had a picture that looked quite like him.
Did you talking about the one on the side of the road?
I don't know.
The guy walking on the side of the road?
It was zoomed in, so I couldn't see where
blurry,
he was.
But it looked like he was just walking.
Did he have a sombrero on? That wasn't a sombrero, but those sun hats. What would you call that?
He did not have a sombrero.
That was not
so bad.
That wasn't meant to be funny. It was by no means meant to be funny. What was a sun hat?
You're freaking canceled, man. You're freaking canceled, man.
We should edit this out. But it was not, you're making this worse. We might cancel this.
Keep going. Keep going.
What would I want? Hold on. I want to dive into this. We got to turn into this.
Okay, steer into the
Yes.
anti-cancel playbook.
It wasn't meant to be funny. What would you call that? A sun hat?
I don't know what you're referring to.
So when you saw the picture of
He wasn't wearing that.
he wasn't wearing it.
So Certainly not a sombrero.
That was such a serious comment, too. Okay. All right.
Steer ends his skid.
Okay.
No, he was not wearing a sombrero.
I thought I saw it.
Okay. Here we go. This is serious
Okay.
topic.
Woo. Guys, all right. This might be like dark humor.
Okay.
Okay. So the picture that I thought I saw, and I'd like to bring it up. I'm sweating.
Okay.
But I can't bring it up because it was on TikTok
Okay.
that I saw. I thought he was wearing some type of hat,
I did not see any headgear.
which makes sense, by the way. Headgear, Sean. You had to say headgear. We were fine until you said headgear. We were fine until you said headgear.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, which would make sense if he was wearing some type of hat, specifically a larger hat.
Yes.
I know he wasn't wearing something from the Mexican culture,
Yes.
but if he was wearing something that was a larger hat to try to disguise himself.
No, I did not see anything.
Okay, I thought he was wearing, but it was not. So you know those. So this is a perfect example of the hat I'm thinking of. So because I want to paint the picture here, it's not so. It's like the kind of the bowl, and then the hat you see like maybe fishermen wear. Can you get it together over there? I just keep picturing him wearing a sombrero. Oh man, I can't. I have so many more jokes that I can't do.
I'm trying so hard, people. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm crying.
Anyway, we really reeled off topic here, but he was. In conclusion, the gentleman that I saw was not him apparently,
Okay, same with the guy that I saw.
because that was Alabama, and he's
Mexico City.
there's no way we ever get past this.
Okay. All right, let's see if we can reel it in
We
here.
have to have a real discussion after this about whether or not we can allow this to be posted.
Okay. I know. I'm really trying to be serious. I certainly don't mean any offense. It's just did not expect to say that.
Say
Okay.
it.
So they're searching this preserve.
Yes, and apparently because they originally took the preserve off, they suspended the look.
Suspended the search.
Because they went to Alabama. They thought the gentleman in either of our pictures was the gentleman. It was not Brian. They had to come back. They looked through the preserve. They suspended the preserve. Apparently, had a conversation with the family. Then made
They re-upped their search in the
they
preserve.
re-upped the search. So now they're looking again.
So it's fair to say that there might be some intel that he's in the preserve.
Yes. Oh man.
Okay.
It is funny to picture him.
We're in big trouble. In big trouble.
Like he's the most. He's got to be number one. Can you confirm? Please confirm. Actually, I don't know if he's number one FBI is most wanted. He's got to be up there.
No, I don't think he is.
He's not a terrorist.
Yeah, he's not. He's not. He's the
on
most.
the list.
He's the most notable, maybe.
So let's say he's number one in the United States. Maybe that's currently present, and you can just pay him like coming out of like Chili's.
Now you're trying to be funny. Coming out Chili's with a sombrero.
Yes, because that's the thing. It's like how reckless could you be?
Well, I mean, my question is, do you think he's in the preserve?
Yes,
100%.
I think because they were hikers to begin with. That's what they were doing up in Wyoming.
Yeah.
They were hikers to begin with. Apparently, I took a brief look at Gabby's Instagram. It was definitely a lot of nature things. Stop looking at me. I can't keep this in, but there is definitely her whole account seemingly was nature. You know what it reminded me of actually? You know those TikToks where you see the guy like laying in a van. Can you?
Is any of this usable?
Can you put yourself together?
Okay, I'm just gonna look. I'm gonna just look slightly to the right of you.
Do you
Can
know?
we just segue back into sports picks?
Do you know the TikToks?
Yes, where people are laying in vans.
And
Yeah,
they open the door, they brew the
Yeah.
coffee.
Yep.
It's looking over
Lovely.
Glacier Park, whatever. That's what her
Van
Instagram
life.
kind of reminded me.
Yes,
of. That's what
agreed.
they did. So, my opinion, if he lived in Florida, probably quite familiar with this type of preserve.
Yeah.
That's maybe where he started his hiking journey
Okay.
or lifestyle.
So you think he's in there?
I think he's in there.
Is he camping out?
No, I think he offed himself.
Yeah.
I think he's done.
I mean, I would say that is like the script.
Yeah, because you also remember correctly, when he came home, he immediately lawyered up. But he came home.
He did lawyer up ASAP.
He
And
lawyered
they
up ASAP.
immediately
Like
were
if
uncooperative.
you're him, if I intentionally killed my girlfriend, sorry Chelsea, but if I intentionally killed my girlfriend, and I don't want to get caught. If I intentionally did it, first off, it's probably premeditated. I did that. I'm on my way to Mexico, gone immediately, or to Canada.
Okay.
Somewhere where I can get on a plane somewhere over there and get the hell out of.
Well, there was a rumor he was in Puerto Rico.
I saw that, but it doesn't really make sense. It's the U.S. territory. They'll just give him right back to us.
Yeah, but I think it's more about the hiding component, not necessarily.
But you want to get to a place that they won't send you back.
I mean, is he thinking this through?
I don't know. I'm saying that's the
extradition
premeditated version. But he drove home thinking going home is not the answer.
You think he killed her?
Yes. I think my original thesis, and this continues to be my thesis.
I mean, it is absolutely by the book, right? Domestic violence.
Yep.
You know,
Got carried away.
Relationship.
Got carried away. Hit her too
Girl
hard.
Goes missing. Then guy goes missing.
Yeah. Hit her too hard, and went home. Lawyered up immediately because it wasn't intentional by him.
Right.
And now he's like, there's like how. I mean, every person in America is following this right now.
Do his parents know if he did it or not?
I don't know, because you're so like taught throughout your life when you do something bad to lie to your parents.
Right.
So I don't know that he would ever have confided in them. He might have just threw him a story.
Do
They
they
know
where
now?
Do they know where he is?
No. I think they probably have a good idea.
Somebody said. I think the parents came out and said he's not missing. He's hiding.
No, that's what Gabby's parents came out and said.
Oh.
Yes. The Brian's parents filed a missing persons. Gabby's parents came out and said he's not missing, he's hiding. So I think they have a good idea of where he probably would go. I don't think they'll give up that information. Maybe should they have already? I don't know. But I think that if he did it unintentionally, I could easily see him off himself just because he's so upset that he did it. Not let alone how much public pressure is on this right now.
Yeah.
Everyone's there. I mean, your girlfriend's down there. Everyone is doing this. Everyone is eyes on the. I mean, we just thought about, and who knows if this ever airs. For the last
Not looking good.
last 20 minutes, we just talked about how I don't know if we can air this, even though we didn't really say anything all that offensive. But it's because it's so many people. If we talked about this without any other story, we probably have no qualms whatsoever airing this episode talking about the sombrero. But in this particular, because there's so much public scrutiny on it, it's a little uneasy whether or not you do it. You don't want people to think you're being insensitive or unsensitive. Was it in or
You
un?
mean talking about our immense laughter?
Yes, in or un.
Insensitive.
What's what I'm saying. Yeah, our immense laughter, but that's beside the point. It's more so of how much public scrutiny is on this particular case.
Yeah. No, I mean, look,
Which is why you think of it. I mean, I saw a TikTok today making fun of it.
what are they saying?
It wasn't what they making fun of, but it was like more comedic relief of the thing. It was a guy. He said, "Hey, Brian Laundry. This is for Brian Laundry. If it's not you, scroll past. Like blah blah blah. Like we don't care." And then they said, "I think all of TikTok can agree." And it was. I forget what song it was, but it was like, "Where are you?"
Oh, I did see this.
You saw this?
And it had all the heads on the screen.
Yes.
I did see that.
So, I mean, there's obviously comedic relief out there.
Well,
Some dark humor.
I mean, I'm
This was
not
dark
one for
humor.
backpedaling, but we're certainly not. I'm not going there. I'm just not going there. Now what?
I just can't believe how this show has gone off the rails.
Completely off.
We
the rails.
went today.
We talked about nothing but cancelable topics.
Trump.
And we went all in.
Trump, Portnoy, women's issues, and then
We haven't even touched the Mountaineers.
I know, and then this whole thing with the sombrero.
Why don't we talk about the Mountaineers?
Okay, let's segue into that. It's another mountainous area. This is a lot of things that are happening in mountainous regions.
We certainly don't need any segue off of that. We can just cut the cord and go right into the good stuff.
West Virginia.
West Virginia football. What did you think of the games? So I was in town.
Yes.
Really trying to get my bearings here. All right, so I was in town, watched the Mountaineers. What's that?
I need a fan so bad in here. I am sweating profusely.
Would you like to pause this podcast for a little bit?
I don't want to pause it. I need AC though.
Okay.
It's hot. But West Virginia's in town. What do you think of the game, Sean? I'll tell you what. Yeah, everyone's gonna. If you've listened to this podcast, you know what I think.
I was at the game. And West Virginia went out to a 21-7 lead, 24-7 lead. Virginia Tech started coming back a little bit. Look, I know what we're going to talk about here.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about the quarterback. At the end of the game, our quarterback, Jared Dagey, we had many opportunities to wrap up the game or at least make it really hard for them to win.
Yeah.
Now, we won, but it was not because of Jared Dagey. Jared Dagey fumbled, and he threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Bad place on the field, bad timing, horrible throw, questionable call, a lot of badness in that interception, and somehow our defense stepped up and won the game. Here's my thing. This is what I believe to be the situation. Garrett Green played a little bit, our backup quarterback. He did well, all runs, didn't throw the ball once. I think that we're going to see him work up more. I believe that it is obviously clear, if it was clear a couple weeks ago, that Jared Dagey is not the guy. He's just not going to be a guy who produces for the Mountaineers. Just not going to happen. And with that, we have to speed up. We have to move Garrett Green along. We can't let him work into it. We have to move it along. We have to get him going. And I think this week it's a grind because he's going to play against Oklahoma, number 4 or number 3. I forget what the number they are. And that's going to be it's going to be tough. And I don't think that he's going to come in and he's going to play a significant role. I think he's going to play a more significant role. I think he should play a lot more significant of a role. That's what I think. But I don't. He's not going to start. I think he'll play more, and hopefully they're moving him in this direction. I know what you think. I know you think he should be the immediate starter, which, quite frankly, I'm not out on. I don't disagree with that. I don't know. We have to move on from Dagey, and we have to find the best way to do it.
I just don't understand how you can allow this man to start ever again.
I'm not allowing it.
You are.
No, I'm not.
If you were the head coach, what are you doing?
Well, I have to assume. How much do I know about him as a thrower?
I don't care. I know that even if Garrett Green doesn't throw the football, it's not getting thrown to the other team.
So we currently believe.
Yeah, it can't be worse.
Well, it can be worse.
Even if it can be worse, we have first. It's hard to be worse.
It's Jared Dagey is the worst under pressure. He played fine in the first half of the game. What typically happens, my impression of Mountaineer football, is that they script out the first quarter or so. West Virginia does well, and then
what happened in Maryland? He was terrible the whole game.
No, they came out hot.
No, Jared Dagey sucks. He's been sucking from first quarter on every game.
I'm not saying that's not true.
That is true.
No, we were like touchdown for touchdown with Maryland in the beginning.
Yes, a team that should not even be in the same conversation as us.
But he's scoring touchdowns. Let me finish.
He's not scoring touchdowns. That was Brown. He ran for 4 consecutive touchdowns.
Fine.
He's giving the ball to the running back.
Fine. I'll give you that. On Maryland, he didn't do anything. But I think that the coaches are scripting the plays. I think they're getting out there, getting to a good lead, and then every time the other team realizes that he can't throw the ball, and they just load up the box and they try to stop Liddy Brown, which they can because he's the only thing that happens. So I mean, I don't even know what to say. I think that who gives us the best chance to start to win against Oklahoma?
Garrett Green. Not even close. It's not even remotely close. At the very least, you have somewhat of a dual threat with Green being able to maybe hand the ball to Brown, maybe keep the ball. And I guarantee you, if you're a defensive coordinator, if you're the other team, you are praying to God that Jared Dagey throws the football. Praying to God.
That's a good point. I agree with that.
Why would you? Please throw it. I would love it. You're going to throw it to one of us, even if we have 2 guys back there.
Especially when it gets, I think, yeah. I mean, that's a good point.
Jarrett Day's been bad year after year after year. I gave you there's one good point you made. This has only been Neil Brown's set because I'm starting to call for Neil Brown's head. It's only his second recruiting class. So he got Garrett Green in. I believe that's his guy.
Yep.
Got Garrett Green in. We got a 4-star guy coming in. Hopefully he stays coming in next year. So you do have guys coming into the program. But, I mean,
it is. You know what?
You might as well just throw the towel in for the year. You're wasting possibly one of the best defenses West Virginia's ever had. You're wasting it.
Well, what do you consider a successful year then?
With this type of defense?
Yeah.
And our notorious offensive team that we've been able to do, it should be in the playoff. And if you were able to make this good, if you were able to make this good of a defense this quickly, we all Dan Horgan.
You take out Dakey and you put in Will Greer. What are we looking at?
I don't know what our thing is. I have no concept of what our wide receivers are like.
I don't think we know anything about it
because Jarrett Day can't do anything.
Correct. I'll give you this. You brought up a good point a couple weeks ago. You said, how is there not like a JUCO guy that we could have found or a transfer? Because a lot of guys are getting good transfers.
Yeah.
I do think that is odd.
We're wasting one of the best defenses that we've ever had, and the last 2 years. Because you said last year's defense was even better.
Do you think that last year statistically we were the best defense in the country?
Wasted.
I agree. But do you think that this could be a theme for us, where we're having good defense every year? Because we don't.
I sure hope so.
But do you think that might be Neil Brown, one of Neil Brown's staples?
I don't know. I have no clue. It's too early to tell for that. But it's not too early to tell that the quarterback position should be a much better position than it is right now.
I would agree with that.
And the other thing is, I can't sit here. It just infuriates me to sit here and watch the same guy go out there week after week and suck. Jarrett Day did everything in his power last week to lose. So I'd rather lose this week 87-0 with Garrett Green in the game from the first step on than to have Jarrett Day go out there and have a mediocre chance of competing when he's going to blow the game at the end of the game. I just can't sit here and watch the same thing. It's the same story over and over and over again. We got lucky last week. We got absolutely lucky. If that game was in Virginia Tech, we lose probably. And if Jarrett Day has anything else to do with it, we lose. He tried to lose the game for us. Luckily, we had a great defense.
The coaches clearly think he's better at throwing.
I don't care what the coaches think. He's horrible thrower.
I understand that, but you have to.
Pat White was terrible at throwing for years. We were one of the best teams in the country.
Look. All I'm saying is that you have to put some stock into what the coaches might be seeing at practice.
Absolutely not. Zero stock.
Please explain that to me.
I have a good enough athletic mind to see what's going on the football field. Practice doesn't mean shit if you can't produce in the game.
What if Garrett Green is just absolutely erratic in practice?
You know what's perfect? I was a phenomenal bullpen thrower. I'd go in the game and I'd spray it all around the field. And you know what? My coaches didn't put me in the game. It just doesn't matter. You've watched this week after week, and you still put this guy in the ballgame. You're turning, and this is why I'm calling for Neil Brown's head soon, is you're turning into what seems to be a bad idea. You're a bad coach. Either you don't know when it's too soon to pull the trigger on Jarrett Day, and seemingly, don't we have some thoughts that Jarrett Day might be a family friend?
That is...
What's going on there?
That does seem to be the case.
Okay, well, get the guy out of the game. I don't care who your friend is.
Get the guy out of the game. He pulled him like that in the bowl game.
And then why is he still in the game now?
Because we don't have a viable backup.
And whose fault is that? And that's why you call for Neil Brown's head.
I think it is too early to pin recruiting and not having a guy on him yet. I do think that the
Garrett Green has done enough on the football field to warrant the starting job.
I think he has done enough on the football field to warrant a significant portion of snaps.
I want everyone to take note of this podcast, because this is exactly the conversations I had with Sean when Dana Holgerson was absolute shit for this team. And we had the same conversation. I say the same phrase. He accepts mediocrity, and this is the same thing that's happening again. We have one of the best defenses in the country, one of the better defenses for West Virginia history, and we're just going to keep running out the nonsense because we need to ease Garrett Green into the game. He has proven that he can compete in big situations. We don't need to ease him in anymore. Either you're good or you're not.
I'm not arguing with easing him in. I think he should be in a lot.
I don't want to ease him in.
I just want to see if he can throw the football.
Well, then play him.
I agree with that.
But he should have been playing last week. He should have been playing in Maryland. He should have been he played. What was the crap team we played?
LIU.
He played a little bit in LIU. I don't know who was the opener. Was it Maryland the opener?
Yeah, Maryland.
So
LIU.
he should. Was Garrett Green the guy that replaced him in the bowl game?
No.
Who was it?
It
that
was
guy,
Austin
Oklahoma guy?
Kendall. Yeah.
Austin Kendall. So you have wasted time now. Jared Dagey. Okay, you want to start him the first game of the year? I think it's a mistake. But you want to start him in the first game of the year.
Do you think that Daggy?
I don't think Daggy should be on the football team besides in a mentor capacity to Garrett Green.
Do you think that? I don't want him mentoring Garrett Green, please God.
Maybe you want him starting.
I don't want him starting.
You said you want to give Garrett Green more of a role.
No, I think that's what's going to happen. I want to see if he can throw it. If he can throw it.
You told me you would start him this week.
If I'm the coach, because I'm assuming that in practice, Garrett Green is not as good of a thrower. They have made that clear based on their decisions. Based on the decisions that the coaches make, they have made it clear that they don't believe that Garrett Green is as good of a thrower as Jarrett Daggy. Whatever. Like, obviously, Jarrett Daggy is a bad thrower. I'm not doubting that. But what I'm saying is, if for the love of God, which he kind of showed a little bit in the LIU game, if he can complete anything, he should be the starter, and Jarrett Daggy should never see the field again. I just want to see if he can throw it, because you're going to need to do more than just run it in the Big 12.
Okay, Jarrett Daggy can't throw the football.
But he can do a little something. Literally, there are things that he can do with throwing.
I can't imagine Garrett Green can't throw a check down.
Okay, well, look.
And like I said previous to this, the other team is hoping that Jarrett Daggy throws the football. So by us throwing him out there and being like, oh, he's the better thrower of Garrett Green, they were just playing right into the other team's hands.
I would agree with that.
So you've given me 0 points as to why this gentleman should ever be on the football field. Zero. He's a better thrower, so we're going to throw him out there to play right into the other defense's hands.
All I want to see is if Garrett Green can throw the football. That's all I want to see, and then I'll make my decision. But I have to assume that they've already seen him throw, and that's why the decisions are being made that's happening. I think that the fans want to see Garrett Green because they want to make their judgment, but the coaches have already made their judgment.
Yes, and I'm starting to lack trust in these coaches.
Well, that's fair enough.
You keep running Jarrett Daggy out there. I lack trust in your judgment.
Okay.
I'm a good enough athletic eye to see this guy sucks and he cannot compete under pressure. And if you want to be in the Big 12 with this good of a defense, you should be the third, fourth backup. You shouldn't even be in consideration to play the game.
This guy, he needs to be done.
He should have been done after the Maryland game. But whatever, you want to give him some plays, you want to ease Garrett Green into that game. Okay, he should have started last week. Jarrett Daggy should never have touched the football.
I need to see.
And then to put him in at that end of the game, you're telling me Neil Brown's got good judgment right now?
Well,
it's one of the worst judgment I've ever seen in my life.
If you remember, this is exactly what happened. They were 3rd and 5, and Garrett Green was coming back in the game. And then they got the false start. They backed him up to 3rd and 10, and then they moved Daggy back in, which signified that they were going to throw it. And that was not good.
One of the worst play calls I have seen in my remembrance of West Virginia football.
I actually didn't hate the play call. I hated the player making the call.
Which means you have to hate the play call.
Fair enough.
The play call was a bad play call, and even if it worked out, I'm like, you absolutely got lucky that worked out. That guy has told you time and time again he can't compete in big situations, and you put the ball in his hands. You idiot. You idiot.
Fair enough.
Bad coaching. Bad coaching, which now, when you do those bad coaching plays, makes me less likely to award you more time to get a quarterback in the thing. You're proving to me you're not making good decisions.
Well, I am a known homer. I will stand by my coach. I think
that's the thing, and that's why we do these things, though. And homer, you should be harder on these people.
Well, look,
they're blowing it for you.
I've always thought I have my coach's back, but I also think that I really don't think that I'm unrealistic with my thought process here of assuming I have to assume that there are decisions being made based on practice. Of course, you have to put more weight on the game. But if there is a guy if he's just unprepared and it's just a lack of quarterback depth, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to trust my knowledge of football over Neil Brown's. Even if, look, Daggy sucks, and if you want to put it on him, he hasn't been able to get somebody in to replace Daggy. That's a fair assumption. But I'm not going to jump into the Garrett Green train until I see him throw the football. He can run it, but I need to see that he can throw the football for some posts or some slants, as opposed to just running it every 5 seconds. That's all I'm saying, and I just want the guy who's going to give us the best chance to win out there. It's embarrassing that it's Jarrett Daggy, but I have to trust the coach's opinion that he's the guy who is the best chance. I would love to see, I think in the second half, Garrett Green should have been in so much more because they're just loading the box and we can't do anything. I think that was questionable. But all it tells me is that they've either seen that he can't participate in throwing, or they're just family friends and they don't want to take him out of the game.
Like I said, I understand that. The throwing thing is so irrelevant to me, it's not even close, because the other team isn't giving Jared Dagey any consideration in the throwing department. So they're just loading the box anyway. So might as well have two options back there to be able to hand it off and see if we can't make something happen.
They always give him some credit in the first half, and then the second half they clamp down. So
I don't think they ever give him credit. I think they want him to throw the football so they can intercept the ball.
They do, but Letty Brown always has room until the second half when they get into it. And I think that's when they put the clamps on.
I'm not convinced that that's them giving Jared Dagey any credit. I think that's,
I don't know. I don't
it
know
might be
enough.
just early in the game. They game plan differently.
Maybe. Well, then I don't know. I don't have the answers. I don't like Dagey. I want him out of there. I want to see what Garrett Green has. I'm on your side. I just don't think. I just think a little differently.
Yeah, he should not be in the ball game. Garrett Green should be the starter through and through for the rest of the season.
What do you say we do some picks?
Let's do some picks.
All right. This is going to be a delight. How about Notre Dame going into Wisconsin? If the game's at Soldier Field, 12-18. Wisconsin's a 6-point favorite, 12 p.m. Saturday afternoon.
What's Wisconsin ranked?
18. Notre Dame's 12.
Notre Dame's 12. They took care of Purdue last week?
I think it was like 38-17 or something like that.
Well, Purdue was pretty motivated after the drum thing. I mean, I'm gonna because I lack knowledge on Wisconsin. I know I've looked into a little bit into Notre Dame
Lost
because
to Penn State opening week.
Yeah,
barely. It was a close game.
I think Wisconsin's a good team. It's in Notre Dame or at Wisconsin.
It's at Soldier Field. Neutral site.
Neutral site. I'm gonna go. What's the line?
6. Wisconsin.
Wisconsin's favored.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm still gonna pick Notre Dame. I gone against them a few. I think I've gone against them last week, or against maybe against they were playing someone that was because they had a weak team in the beginning, week one. They did well. They didn't do well.
They
against
played
them.
Florida State and they won in overtime.
Squeaker.
And then they barely beat Toledo. In week 2.
Yes. I think I remember thinking that Toledo would cover that game. But anyway,
I'm going Wisconsin. I hate Notre Dame.
Yeah. Okay.
Texas A&M traveling down to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Number 7 at number 16. Texas A&M, Tamu, 5.5-point favorite, road favorite.
Texas A&M wins that ball game.
Arkansas,
by a touchdown.
Arkansas's kind of good.
Yeah, Texas A&M's kind of good too. Texas A&M wins by a touchdown.
Jimbo Fisher.
We have something going on. There was Bobby. What was the guy? Didn't I say there was another brother or something like that for the Bobby Bowden?
Oh yeah.
Nothing to do with Jimbo Fisher.
No, nothing whatsoever.
Completely irrelevant.
What else we got on here? Oh, Nebraska going to Michigan State. Is this a must-win for Nebraska? Nebraska now 2-2. They didn't get pummeled by Oklahoma last week. They're a 5-point underdog on the road. Number 20, Michigan State.
Nebraska?
Yeah.
Nebraska's losing. At 5 points, yeah.
Nebraska wins this one.
Nebraska's not winning.
They need it really bad.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. They need wins for the last decade. Gotten them.
How about Rutgers? Greg Schiano going to the big house. Rutgers unranked, but 3-0 against Michigan, number 19, also 3-0. Michigan is a 20-point favorite. Will they cover?
I say no. I say they won't cover. Where's Michigan ranked? They weren't ranked.
19.
They weren't ranked in the beginning of the year. I
19.
Believe. Yeah. I say Michigan doesn't cover. I know it's in the big house. They got some points for that because of how loud that place gets. Rutgers has been playing well this year, 3-0. I think they have a pretty good win on their schedule too, don't they? Rutgers? I thought they played someone fairly decent.
I think they've played all cupcakes. I'll pull it up though.
Okay, I thought they played someone fairly decent earlier in the year and had a win that, and not that I was like, oh wow, it's a big win for them. Just a win that I was like, okay.
They beat Temple 61-14. They beat Syracuse 17-7, and they beat Delaware 45-13.
I don't love that Syracuse win. Syracuse is notoriously bad at football, except for Donovan McNabb's time.
I still don't even think they were that good.
No,
I think they were good, but like not like when
great.
Carmelo was at Syracuse.
different team. I really don't. I'm going to say that Michigan doesn't cover because I haven't had a lot of faith in Jim Harbaugh over there. Although I like him and I like Michigan.
And you like Schiano though.
I think Schiano's good. I mean, they're already playing better. This is not the same Rutgers team. They were iffy to lose any game at any time under any other team. He's dominating besides the Syracuse game. So I'm saying that I'm not saying Rutgers wins, but I'm saying Rutgers covers.
I'm going to say the exact same thing. Exact same thing. I feel the same way. Number 9, Clemson on the road in Raleigh, North Carolina against the North Carolina State Wolfpack. Clemson, a 10-point favorite. NC State, not a pushover. They've won 45-7 over Furman. They did lose to Mississippi State 24-10, but they beat USF, University of South Florida, 45-0. 10-point favorite for number 9 over an unranked NC State.
Clemson covers. I haven't watched them. They weren't all that
score.
They weren't all that impressive against Georgia, obviously, but that was one of the best defenses in the country, probably. If I'm guessing.
Clemson's 2-1. They beat unranked Georgia Tech last week. They moved down after a win.
Okay.
They beat unranked Georgia Tech while they were ranked number 6. They beat Georgia Tech 14-8.
Okay. They're really having a tough time scoring.
I'm going to look at their box score here. DJ Uyunglele, 126 yards passing, no touchdowns.
He's supposed to be legit too, isn't he?
He's supposed to be. I think he's young. He might be a redshirt freshman.
You know, I'm saying I have faith in Dabo Sweeney, so I'm saying they cover.
They're definitely going to win. Definitely going to win.
I mean, even 10 points is not a definite win.
I just think Dabo's going to get the win. Jeez.
They just have so many other playmakers on that team that can help them get to the W. So I'm saying they win. I say they cover too.
Okay, I got one for you. Tennessee at Florida. Florida, will they be hung over? It is a, what do we got here? 20-point favorite for Florida. Will they be hung over? Any chance that Tennessee might be able to sneak one by them?
No, I don't think they're hung over. I think they're more upset after a close game.
Tennessee got absolutely blasted. Well, they didn't get blasted, but they gave up 41 points to a incompetent Pittsburgh offense.
Yeah, I think
who lost to Western Michigan.
Yeah, I think Florida takes care of business.
Florida's going to blast them. It's at the Swamp too. All right, here we go.
Ba-da-dum, 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 bum, bum. I think it's the NFL.
Yeah,
it's NFL. Damn it.
Yeah, it's the NFL. You don't even know West Virginia's fight song.
Do you know how many times I've heard that in my life, Sean?
All right, I stand corrected.
Stand corrected on Jared Diggy and the fight song.
The Mountaineers, the Mighty Mountaineers,
yes,
travel to Norman, Oklahoma to take on Spencer Rattler and the Oklahoma Sooners for the primetime game on ABC, 7:30, Kirkhab Street. Chris Fowler will be calling the game. Oklahoma is a 16.5 home favorite. What do you got?
We have a lack of the ability to score, although I love our running back. Our defense is very good, though.
And Oklahoma has not blown people out. They blew out one crap team they played like 76-0.
What are they ranked?
I think that they're ranked either 3 or 4.
Jeez.
Oklahoma's ranked 4th in the country. They're 3-0. Let me tell you their numbers here. Oklahoma opening game won 40-35 against Tulane. They beat Western Carolina 76-0. And then they beat Nebraska 23-16. So they're not killing it.
Nebraska, that's an interesting one.
And you saw that interception that they had. Nebraska seemingly was driving a little bit. Maybe that could have swung the game a little bit more.
I'm going to make a call here that I think a lot of people aren't expecting. Based off I think actually people should be expecting this 100%. This game will be completely dependent on how much Jared Diggy plays in this game.
I 100% agree with you.
If Garrett Green is the starter and the guy controlling the football for the West Virginia Mountaineers, I think you have an outside chance to win this ball game.
I think this is a winnable game for the Mountaineers.
Solely because of their defense.
Garrett
Green doesn't need to score a ton of points.
Nope.
He just needs to give the ability to make sure that, was it Lenny Brown?
Leddy.
Yeah. L-E-D-D-Y?
I-E.
L-E-D-D-I-E.
Correct.
Letty Brown. I can see how I confused that with Lenny. Even when I said Letty, I thought I said Lenny. Letty Brown, if you have to get him open, you need to have this option.
The only way to do that is get Diggy out of the game.
Yes.
Only way to
Jared Diggy should not. No, Jared Diggy should not set foot on the football field. You already know that. We don't need to get back into that.
He's going to.
We don't need to get. But we don't need to get back. We don't need to get back into that.
Okay.
The ability. We need the ability to have someone other than when they load the box be able to misdirect
another threat
to run the football.
I agree.
And then be able to do the checkdowns, be able to do the quick slants. I have faith that any Division I college football quarterback can throw a slant.
A slant, a
Yes.
quick little something.
I
quick
can
little number.
throw a slant.
Oklahoma's defense notoriously poor.
Yes, notoriously poor. And they're not scoring a whole lot of points against Nebraska. It really raises a red flag to me. Can't imagine they have a phenomenal defense over there.
No, they never have a good defense.
They never have a good
Oklahoma's
anything.
always got a bad defense.
They always have a bad offense.
They always have a great offense. Oklahoma.
Nebraska?
Oh, no. Nebraska, you're saying.
Nebraska.
Oh, okay.
That's what I meant. Did I say Oklahoma?
Yeah.
My apologies. But, yeah, I think that West Virginia has a good chance to win this game solely because of their defense. They're in Oklahoma. It's going to be a rowdy crowd. It's going to be very raucous.
If I'm with you, if Garrett Green plays and is a significant contributor, like he's playing a lot, it's a winnable game for the Mountaineers. If Daigie's out there too much, I don't think we can do it.
No.
I don't think we can score enough.
No, they will apply pressure on Jared Daigie, and he will mess up. He will
under that pressure.
Yes, the
And
place is going to be loud.
It's going to be electric.
It's going to be loud. He's got a nationally televised game.
Yes, Cab Street.
I guarantee you right now. This is the thing: is when you pump guys up for this game, these are the things you say in the locker room. The things you say: nationally televised game. Kirk Herbstreit's coming. All these. Yeah, you're doing the opposite for this guy.
It's going to get tight.
So he should not be in the ball game. If he goes in for the first series and gets pulled, and then Garrett Green's in, okay, all right, sure. But do you really want to send that message to your team that you just don't know who's your starting quarterback going to possibly the biggest game of the season?
Do you think that Garrett Green is taking reps with the ones this week? I think it's got to be a 50-50 split.
Yeah, okay. You know what? I have no faith in our coaching staff right now. Okay. Zero. I have zero. The defensive team, the defensive coordinator, and whatever his guys are doing, great job, guys. Doing a tremendous job, and I apologize on behalf of Mountaineer Nation for what you guys have to deal with right now, because you guys are doing such a good job, and it's being wasted. Everyone that has any input on the offensive side, I have zero faith in right now. So, no, I don't think he's taking. He's probably taking no reps. They probably sent him home and made him a walk-on.
Well, today Neil Brown will have a press conference. I will be checking in on that to see what they said.
Okay, that's great. So, I say, since we're doing lines, I don't have to really worry about picking a winner. I'm saying West Virginia covers, or I guess Oklahoma doesn't cover. Whatever,
yes.
wherever is the proper way to say that.
I will say, I just don't have faith that Garrett Green's going to play that much. I'm going to pick West Virginia because I can't not.
Are you, just be clear, are you picking them covering, or are you picking them winning?
Winning outright, of course.
Yeah, it's always winning outright.
They're winning outright.
Why'd you even think?
Because everybody knows what I'm really thinking. West Virginia wins outright.
You see if you want any integrity in this game, in this podcast.
Look, we all know the deal. Hey, listen, these are my real thoughts. I really think that it's a winnable game for the Mountaineers. I think that Garrett Green needs to be a significant contributor in order for that to happen. I think the defense will hold up. I think they will bend, and I think they will break a couple times because it's Oklahoma.
Of course, understandably.
What I've seen time and time again is that Jared Daigie on the field. I can't tell you how many games I've watched where I'm like, this is great that the defense is stopping them, but we can't do anything offensively. Mm-hmm. And if we ride Daigie, I already know that we don't possess a chance to score enough to beat Oklahoma. On the flip side, if Garrett Green plays 40 or more % of the snaps, I say we're in it. If he plays above 50% of the snaps, I think we win outright. But just to be clear, I'm picking them to win outright no matter what.
Okay, understood. Zero integrity. All right, well, there you have it, folks.
There you have it.
There you have it. We went all over the board today.
Look, if I'm here tomorrow, that's great.
All over the board today. You guys saw a bunch of things. If we get canceled, we get canceled. Can't win them all. However, if you watch the West Virginia game this week, which is nationally televised, the late game,
ABC.
So enjoy that. If you see, what's Jared Daigie's number?
2.
If you see number 2 in the ball game a lot, you probably don't even need to listen to next week's episode. You know how mad we're
looking
for
6 under center.
Yeah, we need 6 under center, a guy who runs the football. So enjoy the game. Hopefully West Virginia pulls it out. And that's all I got. See you guys next week.
Bye now.